My name is Rhapsody. Welcome back to the Slay the Spire. It is time to roll the die of destiny. That's a 12. Looks like we're doing a normal run with the silent again. Hell yeah. I'm happy to be doing normal runs again, to be honest. I'm gonna go on Ascension 1 again, because I find it more interesting than the base mode of the game. And I find higher levels of Ascension to be kind of restrictive on the strategies that you can really use. Or rather, restrictive on the strategies that succeed. You can use other strategies, but don't plan on winning. Pardon me, I was lost in thought. This blasted contraption has confounded me. But I, Siegwald of the Knights Katarina, shall remove 2 cards from my deck by losing 7 max HP. Yeah! Alright, I think that's what I'm gonna do here. Just a defend and a strike. Keep my deck relatively consistent in terms of its damage output. I actually want to really hit up this early shop just so I can try and find a rare card to really kind of pin my run to. It's also a lot of questions. Oh, I love my question marks. Alright. Drop all that defense. Yeah, I'm not pleased about that. I knew with that opening hand that my next hand was very likely to be quite defensive. Unfortunately, it's one of those situations where I'm not really pleased to be right. I get that a lot of the time. I gotta be fairly honest with that one. Typically, I bet against my own best interest. Because if I'm right and something shitty happens, then awesome, I was right. And if I'm wrong and nothing shitty happens, then awesome, nothing shitty happened. It's fine both ways. Enemy's not going to defend itself. We'll probably have 2 strikes in the next hand. I'm not really happy to have lost 4 HP in the first fight, but that's the jawworm for you. Dagger Spray is really important, but Unload is a really nice way to get some damage in your deck. Some direct damage, especially. I'm going to take an Unload because I would usually take a Dagger Spray and I want to branch out. That's an Apotheosis. That's a Ninja Scroll. That's a Backstab. That's a Flying Knee. That's an Alchemize. That's a... Sorry, I thought... Was I not just naming cards at that point? Alright, Well-Laid Plans is a good card. So is Backstab. 40 and 71 means I could take both of them and have 1 left over. I think I do that. I really like both of those, I gotta be honest with you. Upgrader. Ooh, 16 damage. Move another card from my deck. Don't mind if I do. We put a Backstab in, so we'll take a strike out. Upgrade 2 random cards, lose 13 HP. Well-Laid Plans and a defend. Totally fine by me. Well, here's where I, pay the piper for the fact that I didn't upgrade, didn't take a, whatchamacallit, lost, the Dagger Spray. There we go. You know, the card called whatchamacallit? AKA Dagger Spray. It's definitely Unload on that back line. Strike, Survivor, Unload. Unfortunately retains no cards. Yeah, I figured this was gonna happen. When I need my defense, it all disappears. Hold on to that defend. See, this is an unfortunate anti-synergy that we've got. Retaining cards is not really going to work when we use Unload and discard that said retain opportunity. The Well-Laid Plans and the Unload are kind of both trying to get at similar things from different directions for us. because a well-laid plans can hold discard synergies in your hand until you have a card that will allow you to discard, and the unload is a way to discard. So effectively, I am looking for discard synergies in this deck. Just haven't really got them. Unload, unfortunately, will discard Cloak and Dagger, which makes it slightly less good in this deck, but it's also really good. Like, one of the reasons as the Silent that I always pick Cloak and Dagger is because it fits into pretty much every archetype. For the Silent, it's got defense, which is great for pretty much every Silent deck, right? It's got, but it's got defense that upgrades with dexterity, so it's like any dex or footwork build, it works perfectly with. It's, when upgraded, it is 3 separate cards for 1 mana, so anything that is about playing a bunch of cards, like 1000 Cuts decks, it is really, really good with. It also gives you 2 Shivs, so it's really good with Shiv decks. It's also really good with Strength decks, because 2 of the cards that you play with it are attacks. It's really good with Envenom decks, because it has 2 attacks in it that each deliver damage. It's too good in everything. I would not be surprised to see it quite significantly nerfed. In fact, I'd be more surprised to never see it nerfed. There's a Dex Potion for us. Take the second Cloak and Dagger, and that's the final card we take. That's the final Cloak and Dagger we take, I mean. Yeah. If I'm going to open this fight, I'm going to open it with my maximum amount of damage. Which is not going to be next turn, so it has to be this turn. Damn. I'm not going to be able to retain Cloak and Dagger anyway, because I'm playing Unload this turn. All good. Strike, defend, defend, and I can keep the Survivor, and I'm completely protected. Beautiful. Unfortunately, the enemy's not going to be neutralized next turn, so it's going to be a lot of block if I want to block. That said, I am pretty certain to play both of those. So now if I just want a Survivor on top of it, I'm completely protected. It's fine. Retain these 2. Strike, strike. Unload. One of the only reasons I can take it a little slower than I typically would is because of that unload. Because it's here to deal damage when I am not capable of it. 5 and 7 is 13. So I'm fine. 5 and 7 is 12. Ryan? 5 and 7 is 12. I'm going to try and perfect this boss, so I'm actually going to drink that Dex Potion. Huh! I still don't get to perfect it? No, I can. It's still fine. I just have to fully defend this turn. And then we've got the kill. Beautiful. Shovel, you can now dig for loot at rest sites. Well, now our entire game plan is turned upside down. I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there, and I'll tell you how I became the Slayer of the Spire. I'm going to go with the Footwork here because it's a ridiculous card. And now we just hit up every rest site that is that we are capable of doing. So we'll go this line so that we can get 2 rests. And then we're going to skip elites just to go to rest sites. Ancient Tea Set, rather. Whenever you enter a rest site, start the next combat with 2 extra energy. That has a soft synergy with Shovel because I am now going to go to every rest site. So I'm going to be able to take advantage of the benefit of that more often. I do want to be able to retain 2 cards, so I won't discard anything here. Beauty. Unload. Now, you might think, oh, look, Unload and Underhanded Strike. Not how that works, unfortunately. Unload discards all non-attack cards, and Underhanded Strike is an attack card. So it does not work with an Unload discard deck. The only things that work with the Unload discard deck are Reflex and Tactician. I think they need to be more benefit more discard benefit cards in the silent deck, but I would rather them being the studio behind. Oh god, have I forgotten the studio that creates this game? How the hell did I do that? Who made the game? I need to figure this out. I feel like I broke my brain by forgetting this. Who made this game? Who made the game? Mega Crit Games. I knew that. I gosh dang knew that. I just forgot it. I would rather Mega Crit games focus their energy on making the card set for the third character than compounding on the card set for the existing characters. Also, you don't want to muddle the card sets. Like, you don't want to over-engineer them. I actually don't think I even take Finisher here. I think I either pass or take the outmaneuver. So I think it's actually a pass. I'm going to go for the Relic. Hey, yeah! Frozen Egg. Whenever you add a powered card to your deck, it is immediately upgraded. That is really good with a with a character like the Silent who benefits so heavily from powers. It is ridiculous. That's a giant amount of defense that I managed to put out there, and I still got hit. Good gosh, that's aggression. Let's weaken. Can't kill this turn, so it's defend, strike, unload, save a strike. This isn't going to weaken us, it's going to vulnerable us. So I can kill with a strike in the next turn. I don't need another Cloak and Dagger, and I don't have any discard synergies in the deck yet, so I'm not going to take Calculated Gamble because it just is going to effectively lower the size of our hand. Now, I know Calculated Gamble is good because it is a cost one size hand for a full cycle, but they're like, as I go on and as I remove more cards from my deck, and as I very selectively accept cards into my deck, I find it less and less likely that I consistently get a better hand with the Calculated Gamble, or at the very least, the cost that it has as a card in our deck and the cost that it has by reducing the amount of cards in our hand when played seems too cumbersome. So while it would be good in the short term, in the long term, it's usually not good for me personally. Bag of Preparation. At the start of combat, draw 2 additional cards. That is going to be in our opening hand, is going to be 9 cards. That is pretty good. Okay, we'll retain both of these defense. I think that my next hand... No, my next hand is definitely going to have a Cloak and Dagger in it. So we're going to be using that Cloak and Dagger to completely block the front and attack the back. The problem here is, do I want to fully discard my hand? Yeah, it's pretty important. It's one of my largest sources of damage. I can't really go without doing that. Putting a lot of garbage back in my deck. There's the Cloak and Dagger I was expecting. I will retain that defend again. Probably only to get discarded next turn. Yikes. Well, at the very least, I've got my defend for this turn managed. Ah, beautiful. I think that was a perfect. Orichalcum, if you end your turn without block, gain 6 block. That's unlikely to trigger for us often. Caltrops will immediately upgrade, and we have a fairly defensive deck. So it'll deal 5 damage to the attacker. Sure. Sure, let's go with that. Now, 23, we do have full defense. So we have a really defensive deck. I think we can beat this boss without needing to smith or rest here. So we're going to dig. Tori, whenever you would receive 5 or less unblocked attack damage, reduce it to 1. That is going to be really handy against this boss, who oftentimes does Whirlwind, and Whirlwind is 5 by 4. So with Tori, that's just going to be 1 by 4. So pretty handy. Then we're going to unload, because if I use Cloak and Dagger now, you're going to mode shift, you're going to have 20 block, and then the unload hits against the 20 block. But by using it now, it sneaks under that line, and then you get the 20 block afterwards. I'm so mad. I'm not going to be able to perfect the enemy now. Dang it. Aw, I took 1 damage. And I'm going to take 1 damage again. Gosh. I'm not really going to be striking the enemy from now on. Can I engineer this so that the enemy takes... Why? Oh my god, I have bronze scales. Of course Caltrops goes in this deck. I forgot about that. Okay, I do 8, and you're hitting me 4 times. So 4 by 8 is 16, 32. So if I can block all of your incoming damage and unload, yeah, we should be fine. We're fine. So you're going to transform while hitting me. Beautiful, which means you spend this turn with no protection. That said, I can't deal any damage to you because I don't really have damage in this deck. Whoops. Whoopsie. Defensive cards, thank you. Yeah, I think I'm actually just gonna try and perma block every piece of incoming damage. You're gonna transform against me again, which is fun. And let all of my enemies just die to Caltrops. I think, like, I tried a Caltrops deck in, I think, like, a High Ascension? I can't remember exactly what it was when I did that build. But I did a Caltrops build. Just like 4 Caltrops in the deck or something. And I had a blast with it, but it got killed in the final stages by fighting the Awakened one, who gets more powerful when you play powers. And my whole deck was based around playing powers. I kind of want to do that again, stupidly. After Image immediately upgrades as soon as I pick it up here, which means it's going to be innate. Start in our opening hand. Sozu. It's Sozu. I want the extra energy so that I can play out all the cards that I maintain. Yeah. Now, new Sozu means I can no longer obtain potions, but I can still use the ones that I have. I actually kind of want to keep this Dex Potion until I get to literally the final fight in the entire game, whereas the Poison Potion, yeah, fine, whatever, use it. Okay. A lot of these paths have the same amount of rests, but there's one that has more elites. After Image. Relate plants. Caltrops. I'm actually, like, a stab and a Cloak and Dagger is going to deal 1 damage to you and get past your plated armor. I guess I should still do it. Get 1 charge of your plated armor off, by the way, is what I meant. I'm mostly going to be relying on you dealing damage to yourself while I stand here and laugh. That's a good neutralize, but I don't know if I'm fully defended this turn. In fact, no, I am. No, I am. I am, because I forgot about the beautiful after image that I had available to me. Orichalcum is basically never going to trigger for us, but that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. Kill yourself. Hey, got him. Fire potion, and you can see Sozu is actually just going to collect it. Kind of like how Ectoplasm works. Nope. Don't really need any of those. This is a hilarious fight when you have a build like this. Unfortunately, I still ought to put one of you on the ground at least. Because I haven't got my other Caltrops up yet. But I actually haven't got that much defense left in my deck. Yeah. Neutralize to lower the incoming damage because... Yikes. Bye-bye. 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 Alright, that was pretty good. Noxious Fumes comes pre-upgraded, but it would upgrade itself if we hadn't. It's just going to be extra damage for us, to be fair. It's going to be really, really helpful against bosses. I really want relics. Yeah! Lou Candle. Curse card can now be played. Playing a curse will make you lose 1 HP, but it exhausts the card. That's quite handy. We will pay for the relic. We get Art of War. If you don't play any attacks during your turn, gain an extra energy next turn. That's actually really helpful in this deck, because we aren't going to play that many attacks. Choose a card to add to my deck. It's almost certainly going to be Adrenaline, unless something else immediately jumps out at me here. I mean, the Caltrops does, but Adrenaline is Adrenaline. Yeah, Adrenaline is too Adrenaline to not take. Like, sometimes I like to consider a lot of cards, but then I see Adrenaline, and nope, it's Adrenaline. It had to be. Are you kidding me? There was Adrenaline. I think I got my point across about Adrenaline being too good to pass up. Alright, Noxious Fumes is good. Got that. There's the Adrenaline. We're just going to be playing out this entire hand, right? You're dead. Beautiful. Alright, we're completely defended. The back line is going to weaken me, unfortunately. Weaken, vulnerable me, which is really unfortunate. But it is going to die before it does anything past that. And I'm now completely defended. Unfortunately, I didn't perfect that boss because they had a ridiculous opening turn that can scarcely be counted. It can be, though. Piercing Whale, one of which has been offered to us. I didn't need to over-defend that turn, by the way. I could have saved some defensive cards, and I would have been better off for it. But Piercing Whale in the opening turn against these enemies is ridiculous. It's so huge. Smiling Mask. Merchant's card removal service is now always 50 gold. That's really good. None of those are necessary. Just double checking with myself. None of those are necessary. Dig. Oddly Smooth Stone. Start of each combat. Gain 1 dex. That is a really great pickup for this deck. Okay. After image first. What? Caltrops. Backstab. Cloak and Dagger and Shiv. I mean, Cloak and Dagger plays 2 cards. The upgraded version plays 3 cards, which is just extra block for our after image, similar to how it works in a 1,000 cuts deck. And it's worth noting, this could also be a 1,000 cuts deck. It does play a fair amount of cards every turn, and even more than that, 1,000 cuts would immediately upgrade as soon as we pick it up. We don't have the ability to retain cards yet, so there's no reason to really bother with slowing down. Unfortunately, I do want to play that defend this turn, because the unload was going to play it anyway. Okay, I'm officially worried that we're not actually going to get out of here with full HP. It really looked like, for a while there, that we were going to be able to get out of this fight without taking any damage. Never mind. We will. Snacko Skull. Whenever you apply poison, apply 1 additional poison. That now means that our upgraded Noxious Fumes is apply 4 poison to all enemies every single turn. Tincture. Whenever you discard a card during your turn, deals 3 damage to a random enemy for each card discarded. It's a bit late for us to re-engineer this into a discard build with the unload, but it's not impossible. It's just extremely improbable. Anchor, start each combat with 10 block. That's really handy, because a lot of the time in the opening turns, we're setting up all of our powers, and we don't really have enough block. As we're about to see. Like, we would only have 3 block right now, but instead, we have a lot. I'm not gonna count it. You count it. Exactly. Right, I'm fully protected already, right? 7, 7, 14, 9 is 23. Yeah, I'm fully protected. So now I'm gonna unload while I've still got 2 skill cards in my hand so that they discard. You're gonna deal 8 damage to yourself by hitting me. And then you're gonna take 4 damage to the poison. So now you're 1 off of dead. That's good, but it's a little far off of dead for my tastes. So let's have you dead. That works better for me. Unfortunately... Oh no, fortunately, I'm bad at maths. And we actually did take no damage in that turn. Beautiful. I like it when I'm bad at things. That front enemy is already deceased. It may not know it yet, but it's dead. So is the backliner. Beautiful. All right, that's another perfect enemy for us. Happy Flower. Every 3 turns, gain an energy. 1,000 cuts. Told you it was a 1,000 cuts deck. We immediately found one. I will place 1,000 cuts before I play the After Image here. For a pretty obvious reason. I don't need the defense, but I do need the extra damage. Excellent. We are going to be playing all of those cards this turn. So, Frontline is already dead. Just doesn't know it yet. Ooh, did that in the wrong order, but thankfully I'm not going to be punished for it. But I should be punished for it so that I would remember. That is, I should have played the Footworks before I played the Cloak and Dagger. Well-laid plans. We'll Cloak and Dagger. Start attacking the back line. I love this kind of thing that happens a lot of the time when you have 1,000 cuts, where you can look at an enemy and just go, you're dead. You don't know it yet, but I know it. You're dead. Dodge and Roll is a great pickup because it's already upgraded. So it's gained 6 block this turn and next turn. So it's 12 block for 1 energy. But since we have a Footworks in our deck, it's actually 16. Because every point of dex affects this twice. Once this turn, once next turn. And because we have the Oddly Smooth Stone, it's actually 18. It's huge. Okay. Yeah, this is just going to be a pretty aggressive turn. Huh? And we're going to try and give ourselves some block to play with next turn. Are we not going to be fully defended this turn? I don't think we are. Oh, I keep forgetting about the effect of After Image. Still not going to be fully defended this turn, but it was closer. Kind of sad that I didn't have my Caltrops active yet. Again, quite sad that I don't have my Caltrops active yet. Why does it have to be in my bottom few cards? I'm probably just going to kill with the AoE from the 1,000 cuts here. That's not okay. Yeah. 1,000 cuts has gotcha. No, outmaneuver is not necessary. Backflip is closer because it's upgraded. Alright. Take a backflip. Only because if I have extra cards that I need, a lot of the time I'll just be able to hold on to them with well-laid plans. I mean, this is the easiest hand of all time. Backflip's good. Rest of that's pretty garbo. We will use unload here. It gets rid of 3 cards. Does a bunch of damage for me. Not horrible, all things considered. Could have been a lot worse. Well, bugger. Took 1 damage there. That's 1 whole damage. It's got to be strike, unload. Nope. Nothing there for me. Dig. Singing Bowl. Awesome. When adding cards to your deck, you may gain 2 max HP instead. Always a good time. 1,000 cuts. After image. Back to stab. Neutralize to remove 1 of your copies. We'll dodge and roll as well. That is 1 of its copies of artifacting, by the way. So we've got 7 block this turn. Could have played that better and taken no damage. It would have just been playing 1 more defense. I wanted to get all of my powers active, but I probably would have been better off to try and go for the perfect against this boss. Alright, so playing these cards does 6 damage across the board, but unloading to discard it does 3 damage to 1 random target. So I do more damage by playing them out. I don't really want any of my cards taken if I can avoid it. This hand is all just play. Pretty straightforward run right there. Yeah, I easily could have gotten away with taking no damage in this entire fight. I screwed up by allowing it to deal damage to me. Now, next turn, this enemy is going to try and hyper beam me. So if I can't kill it in this turn, and I can't, I should try and hold on to my defensive cards. So I'm actually not going to play Unload here and just hold on to both of my other cards. Because if I played Unload, I would have discarded these. Yeah, that's 51 damage incoming. So, defend. Survivor discards that. Cloak and Dagger and Cloak and Dagger. And I managed to fully protect myself. But still, only just. Yeah, we could have been in so much a better position if I was just a little bit smarter about how I played the early game. And that is just score-wise, we could be in a better position. As for the cards, I don't really know if we could be in a better position in that regard. I think we're pretty much immaculate. That said, I would like a couple more copies of Caltrops because I like the idea of the meme deck. I'd like the idea of getting that off the ground. Second Adrenaline. Wraithform, if Wraithform upgraded to be 2 energy, like, if it was basic 3, whenever you play a skill, deal 5 damage to a random enemy, and then it upgrades to be 2 energy, it would be so much more playable. But it isn't, and as a result, it isn't. Even though if I picked this, it would immediately upgrade. It would be 3 energy, Wraith Form whenever you play a skill, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. That is super cumbersome to play on any turn, especially in the late game, right? In the late game, you need to deal damage so that your enemy doesn't ramp out of control, and you need to defend against all the damage that they are going to be dealing. How are you going to have 3 extra mana to play Wraith Form? If you have 3 extra mana to play Wraith Form, you're probably already going to win. Why play Wraith Form in that deck? It's a win more card, basically, is what I'm saying. I can take Cursed Key here, courtesy of the fact that we have blue candles, so we can just burn any of the negatives out of our deck. There's a little bit of an anti-synergy with the Shovel and Black Star. So Black Star wants you to hit up as many elites as possible so that you can get as many relics as possible, because Black Star is whenever you defeat a elite, you get 2 relics, which is awesome. Good fun, right? But Shovel wants you to go to as many rest sites as possible, and you prioritize those over elites, because an elite gives you a relic when you kill it, but a rest site gives you a relic and you don't have to kill anything. So your priorities are pretty clear. There's no 2 rest paths, so wow. Wow. Alright, I'm going to be dodging a lot of elites, but at the very least I get an early shot, which is handy. It's After Image, Footwork, Adrenaline, pick up some more cards. Adrenaline, pick up some more cards. Well-laid plans. Backflip, pick up some more cards. Noxious Fumes is a great pickup there. We'll have the Spiker die to AoE. We're just going to start focusing on these exploders. While I really would like to retain 2 cards, yeah, being able to kill a target this turn is huge. Okay. Get to retain a defend there. Very nice indeed. The first thing that we want to assure every turn is our defense. Now, this deck would be absolutely insane to have Calipers in. Calipers is at the end of your turn, you do not lose all of your block, you just lose 15 rather, sorry. This deck would be insane for that, but unfortunately, I saw that in my first shot and wasn't able to buy it. Which guaranteed it never turned up in my run ever again. Let's count our balance of skills, actually. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 out of 23. But it's also worth noting that when we count our exhaustible cards, right, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 9 of those go out of our deck, which means that we have a deck size of 14 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Literally 5 attacks in it. So Flechette gets better over the course of the fight, but also Noxious Fumes is here, so we have to take that. I did want to entertain the idea of taking the other option first, but let's be honest, there was only one option there. Just get that Redick damage in, and then hold on to our defense for later. One of the real barriers or checks for this deck is whether or not we're going to be able to kill the double elites, the double Orb Walker elite. Because I'm actually not certain we'll be able to kill them fast enough to avoid all damage. We'll definitely be able to kill them, I believe, but whether or not we'll be able to kill them fast enough is a different issue. We don't really discard that many cards. Yeah. We don't want any of that. We want max HP. Right. Is Infinite Blades good or garbage in this deck? It's one extra trigger of 1,000 cuts and one extra trigger of after image every single turn. Is that good? Or is that garbage? I think it might be garbage. Sadistic nature is ridiculous. Whenever you apply a debuff to an enemy, they take 3 damage. The upgraded version is they take 4 damage, and our noxious fumes count as a debuff. So it's like every turn deal 4 damage to your enemies. It's pretty good. We don't tend to kill enemies in our turn. Is that true? That's not true. Alright, so we take Sadistic and we take Gremlin Horn. And then with 52 left over, we'll remove another card from our deck. And because of the balance I was talking about before with Flechette, we're going to want to remove a basic strike. Because our deck is successful with the fewer attacks it has. Lose 2 gold to obtain the red mask. At the start of each combat, apply 1 week to all enemies. That is really good, because that means with the red mask and the anchor, we start with 10 block, all of our enemies are weakened. It is going to be much more difficult for them to ever deal damage to us in the opening turn. Should have meted that by saying in the opening turn a little bit quicker. 7 damage. Delectable. Alright. You've got a wee bit of damage incoming. I can see it. I can see it. It's fine. Get all my powers active. I think that's all of them now. Flechette would actually be pretty damn ridiculous in this deck, so I am keeping an eye out for it. Because look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a pretty standard hand. So 6 by 5 is 30. 30 damage for a single Flechette. That's pretty good. 30 damage for 1 energy. Especially because it doesn't really infringe on what we were normally doing anyway. We can only retain 2 cards, so we may as well play everything else just to get the triggers of 1,000 cuts. Quick backflip. Dodge and roll. And now we're fully protected because that's 24 incoming. Awesome. Deal a casual 24 right back to yourself, courtesy of Caltrops. And I'm just going to end my turn there. No reason to watch a billion animations when the enemy is already very deceased. Malaise. I really want it. Who's my boss on this floor? Time Eater. Malaise is really good. I could go dig, or I could go for some extra score by attacking. I'm going to go for the attack. This is an enemy that I should be able to quite easily dunk on. Awesome. Because we play a lot of cards each turn and defend all damage with ease. Should have played a defend there first, actually. Would have gotten slightly more damage out. Caltrops. Dodge and roll. Get some setup for the next turn. Backflip, 1,000 cuts. We'll unload even here. End our turn to continue with these 2 strikes. Malaise in our next hand. Hell yes. Then we'll Malaise. And Malaise is also going to hit twice from the Sadistic. So Malaise also does 8 damage. It's pretty cool. Actually going to take the Cloaks and Daggers here rather than the strikes. At this point, the enemy really shouldn't be capable of dealing any damage to me. Hey. throw in attacks after playing as many cards as possible. Like, I'd have to get a pretty god-awful draw for the enemy to be able to do anything ever. And it really doesn't look like that kind of a draw is in the cards for me. Pun extremely intended. Alright, backflip here. Hey, Cloak and Dagger, beautiful. Get those out. Go for a strike, shiv, unload. It's gonna be a slow kill. I never said it would be quick. It's gonna be pretty easy. Now, maybe if I didn't have them, in fact, if I didn't have the melees, this wouldn't have been a success right here. We would take damage this turn. Holy crumbs. Holy crumbs. This is actually another reason, by the way, that Cloak and Dagger is ridiculous, because Shuriken and Kunai are ridiculous, both of which require you to play 3 attacks in a single turn in order to gain a stat. Here, it's 3 attacks in a single turn to gain 1 strength. We actually don't play that many shivs because we've only got 2 Cloak and Daggers and they're not upgraded. So accuracy is not going to be good for us, even though it does immediately upgrade itself when it adds itself into our deck. So instead, we're going to take the max HP here. Lose a strike. Easiest decision of my life. Alright, after image, Caltrops. Footwork. Adrenaline. I really don't want burns put in my deck, if at all possible. So, I'm actually going to target some of the enemies here. And here I'm only going to use melees for 2, because I just don't want to have to draw it again. So it's permanently reduced his strength by 2, and has weakened him for 2 turns. Which is still worth its slot in my deck, because this guy does multi-attacks. So anytime you reduce his strength, you're actually reducing it by a lot more than it looks like you are. Or rather, whenever you reduce his strength, you're reducing his damage by a lot more than it looks like. Gain myself another strength right there. Don't mind if I do. And backflip, cloak, kill. Easily done. Escape plan, though. I don't have any problem with playing as many cards as I can in every turn. In fact, playing every card is good for me. Right. No, Time Eater is our final boss. I'm not going to take that escape plan. Good thing I caught that. I could go for 2 elites, or I could go for an elite and another rest. I'm going to go for the elite and another rest, actually. There's doubt. Dreamcatcher, whenever you rest, you may add a card to your deck. I'm not really intending on doing that. I will fight you for a relic, because I've almost overlaid the screen with just relics. I've got to get there. I'm actually kind of intending not to play this doubt, because... No, wait, I don't need to flawless this fight. We're not up against an enemy of any consequence. Or rather, an enemy of any consequence to our score. See, that enemy died against my Caltrops, and it triggered the Gremlin Horn. It did draw me an extra card. You can see I've got 6 in what would usually be a hand size of 5. But I don't get to keep the extra energy because it died in my opponent's turn. And then, at the start of my turn, I rounded back up to my energy value. Which is kind of annoying, but, you know, just how it goes. It is definitely frustrating, though. Crumbs. I believe I just survive it here. Yeah, I'm a survivor. I'm not going to give up. Come on, Adrenaline. Good draws. Really good draws. Well done, Adrenaline. Extremely good draws. Even got to discard that burn. Alright, that frontliner is dead, just doesn't know it yet. This is one bonus that the Unload has outside of its typical deck archetype. Dead branch. No, thank you. One benefit it has outside of its own typical deck archetype is that you are... What is the word I'm looking for here? You're kind of safeguarded against burns and wounds. Well, not wounds, but burns and curses in the later game because you can discard those as well. So in the early game, it's a big burst of damage that you usually want to get from Glass Knife, but sometimes can't get from Glass Knife. Here we should take Catalyst. Just because our poison stacks at 7 per turn, it's pretty ridiculous. Bouncing Flask is also actually quite good, because it'll be 4 damage 4 times once upgraded, which is 16 damage by itself. That said, it definitely should be Catalyst. I'm not taking the Dead Branch. I'm not doing that to myself. I don't need to worsen my deck every time I play Backstab or Cloak and Dagger or Adrenaline, or God forbid Malaise Catalyst. I've got too many exhaust cards in my deck to really play with that and be pleased about it. So I'm not going to play Doubt in this hand because I really don't want to concede any damage in this fight. That's actually why I did the backflip as soon as I possibly could there, so that I could try and get 1,000 cuts out. I'm really glad that it worked. I'd like to dodge and roll this turn, but it's super important that I get that Noxious Fumes out there. Good work. Delayed Caltrops, Adrenaline. I'm almost certainly just going to use a huge Malaise this turn. Do need to get Noxious active though. And then Giant Malaise. And thanks to well-laid plans, I get to hold on to the Catalyst, waiting for the turn that it's active. Beautiful Sadistic Nature right there. Let's attack this turn so Shuriken's not triggering. I think maybe I just use Catalyst this turn. 10 extra poison. Because I do want to hold on to these other 2 cards. Let's fight that out of our hand. Dagger. Enemy's intangible this turn. That was a bad move. Forgot about them being intangible. Thankfully, it's hard to keep a good man down. We've got way too much defense to be fucked with. I don't like that the enemy becomes intangible before it hits me. Makes it a wee bit difficult to really deal that much damage with my Caltrops. Enemy is dead this turn. I'm just going to play all of my defenses because I wanted to play all of my defenses. Girya. I mean, you can now gain strength at rest sites 3 times max. It's pretty good, but... Ooh, another after image. Every time I play a card, I get 2 extra strength. Phantom Potions. Yeah, we got a bunch of potions. I can't wait to use those. We should definitely dig here. Lifting isn't that good. Like, we don't really use strength in this deck. Even when Shuriken activates, it's not really the way we deal damage. Meat on the Bone is never going to activate. Meat on the Bone, if your HP is at or below 50% at the end of combat, heal 12 HP. Now, I've had a couple of people ask, why have they never seen the Serpent? Why have they never seen the Fire Demon guy that summons the Fire Orbs? Both of those are enemies that only currently exist in the beta branch of the game. Also, I don't know if the dailies are in the main branch of the game yet. I think they may have been pushed to the main branch of the game yesterday. But if you do not have the beta for this game and you do want to see all of the content as it is developed, be aware Some of it will be buggy, some of it will be imbalanced. That is the peril that you risk playing on the beta branch. Right-click the game in your Steam library, go down to properties, go across to betas. I think there's a tab that just says betas, and then opt in. If not, just right-click the game, go to properties, and you'll see it eventually in that menu screen somewhere. Should have played After Images first. Whoops. Doubt's actually probably one of the best curses that I could have in my deck. Save for Clumsy, obviously, which is the best curse, full stop. I will quickly say, you know, Pain is a really good relic, a really good curse if you have certain effects in your deck like Rupture, but just Clumsy is usually the best curse to have. But for us, Doubt's fine, because we really don't use our damage for anything. So lowering that damage source, it's fine by me. Does it look like I give a single flying fuck about it? Awesome. Explosive Potion that I never get to use. Another Malaise? Could I use another Malaise in this deck? No, not without sacrificing HP. I really want to smith some of my cards, but I've never really had the opportunity to because digging is almost always better. Centennial Puzzle. First time you lose HP each combat. Draw 3 cards. Beautiful. All right, now that we're in the final fight, we're going to use this Dex Potion. Remember me saying ages ago that the final fight is when we're going to be using that? Should have used 1,000 Cuts here first, by the way. All right, we've only got 5 cards to play next turn. We've got to defend ourselves against 30 damage. Can we do it? Yes, we can. I really don't want to use my second Adrenaline. All right, Caltrops, Noxious, Malaise. That's playing 3 more cards. 3 more cards gets me 21 block. Enemy's doing 30 damage. Malaise is going to hit for 6. So yeah, I'm actually fully protected by doing that. That's a pretty giant Malaise. Enemy did lose 6 strength, but it gained 2 because I played 12 cards. Another Noxious right there. I kind of want to unload. Yeah. Reasonably good. We got draw reduced for that turn. That's rough. I will hold on to that Catalyst until the turn that it's viable. I don't want to play that defend. Just gets my enemy closer to their activations. 9 incoming damage this turn. We are now completely protected. I don't need a discard opportunity. I need to wait until the enemy is below half HP before I really want to activate anything. I will dodge and roll, and I am going to... Beautiful. Push the enemy past their prime there. Yeah, you're trying to do the self-purge right now, and since I can't... Just can't deal enough damage this turn to kill you, there's no reason to do anything. So we'll just... Because you were going to heal back to half of your HP value and purge. So why would I just help you along that way? Doesn't exactly seem like a great idea for me to do. Just waiting for the poison to build back up. and trying to keep your strength low. When possible, of course. I think it's quite likely I perfect this fight. I don't think I perfected the fight on the first floor, and I definitely didn't perfect the fight on the second floor, although I could have if I was just a little bit more clever about the way that I played it. All right, now it's time for Catalyst. Extra 26. It's 25 because it doubles, and then it does 1 extra because it's Neko Skull, so it's 26. I think that's lethal. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah. So we're going to get a reasonably high score. I'm going to guess like 1,050? 1,030. All right. That's pretty close. Pretty close guess there. Yeah, because we got 1 perfect, but we got 6 champions. We didn't get Collector or Light Speed or anything like that. Oh gosh, this was a very long run. I spent a lot of time just talking about the build rather than playing the build, which is my bad, to be fair. If we could have done that in, you know, lesser than 45 minutes, we could have had like a reasonable score in our hands. 1,030. I don't think that's enough to take my score back from Crack Egg. Damn it. Damn it. At the very least, it's going to be able to take my score back from Lolash. No, not Relic Collection. Show me the statistics. Internet, show me the dark statistics. Yeah, couldn't take it from Crack Egg, but just a little less than double Lolash. For the moment, he's been playing other games, don't worry. For the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been Slay the Spire. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we will see you the nextest time.